Oh, silence. They believe they know you and have you completely figured out. Do they not believe that you are predictable and will plead and pursue? They think they have the strings dragging you here and pushing you, but you'll fall apart. One small gesture and one attention-grabbing breadcrumb will have you rushing. You are like a dog to them. Therefore return to their shrine like a loyal servant. A doormat is someone they may summon, dismiss, and use as they like. But the reality is, they don't know who you really are. Perhaps you've portrayed the part before. Perhaps you've gone above and beyond for them with your tears, your explanations, and your never-ending defenses. To make them feel large, you softened your strength and lowered your voice backward. It makes no difference to me who you were before this puppet rubbish doormat. What counts is who you will become once you realize that quiet isn't passive. It's not a retreat. Rather, it's a weapon, a boundary, a choice. The instant they believe they have you under control, but they are so mistaken when you stop playing their game and start playing your own. When you stop responding and speaking, you deprive them of the fulfillment that comes from your energy. Everything they believed they had lost, including the control they believed they had, was destroyed. The one thing they cannot control is silence. It is untouchable, unbreakable. The mirror reflects back their own conceit, greed, and superficiality. They will choke on the emptiness you leave behind if they dwell with it. They'll fumble and try to agitate you, but don't give them a chance. Stay silent and let your silence speak louder than everything you've said. Ever mentioned that they were so certain that they expected you to comply, didn't they? Of it, they assumed you would continue to show up, forgive, and dance to their. The twist is that they can't cope with your absence. They've constructed their pride in the basis of your responses, and when you remove those, they will sense the collapse of the entire situation in each unanswered text and phone call, that every time they try to get your attention, they go to voicemail and discover nothing but they will act as though it doesn't upset them, and that your withdrawal is pointless while you are silently staring back at them. As though they are unfazed, but you are aware of the reality that lies within them falling apart piece by piece, because all they have left without your support and enthusiasm is themselves. And let's face it, they won't have a favorable impression of you. You are no longer their puppet, and you are not kneeling at their shrine, pursuing, begging, or clarifying that you are the one who is silent, strong, and the storm they didn't anticipate, allowing them to feel the consequences of their own behavior. They can't get away from the echo that reminds them of everything. Let your absence be the emptiness that makes them taste the dust of your departure. Every day of what they lost is not about retaliation. Rather, it's about respect, about letting them know that you are no longer a part of their life without using any words. Your declaration of independence and refusal to be anyone's is game silence. Porn, they believed they knew you, so let them reconsider and watch helplessly as you take back control, because being silent isn't a sign of submission. Rather, it's the loudest, unwavering declaration you'll ever make. And now they'll realize the reality: you were never weak. You were never under their authority. And now in the alone you've produced, they will have to face the truth about who they are and who. Don't dismiss this. You've grown strong, untouchable, and completely free as words. Don't simply listen to it and return to your previous self. Instead, let this be the next time. Let the line in the sand be the moment when everything changes. They want to incite you in order to drag you back into their mess, so don't give them anything. Not because you're resentful, but rather because you're finished with. This is your chance to play their games, use their ego, and be their puppet. Silence is your strength. Let them experience it. Let them despise it. And let them at last acknowledge that they never really knew you, and they don't give it a second thought. Although we are finished here, this adventure is only beginning. It is not the conclusion of your story, is the catalyst for your change, and today is the day you not only demonstrate to others but also to yourself how you are strong, self-reliant and unflinching. You realize that quiet isn't merely a tool, it's a weapon, and we're going to use some dark psychology to hone it today. Strategies, but don't get it wrong. We're not discussing manipulation. This is about taking back your power and mastering deception or games. The art of being so grounded and untouchable that their egos collapse under. The significance of your absence is that you need to take charge of your story. About forcing people to face themselves in the face of their conceit by making stillness the noise that drowns out there, instead of using words, mirror aims to teach children a lesson they will never forget. Not by fighting, but by the silent, unwavering power of your transformation, and it is this transition that we will discuss in the following section of this video. Are you truly prepared? If don't just hit the like button beneath this video. Instead, crush it. This is not only for you, it's for everyone who needs to hear it and is searching for strength to take back their lives, and each like and comment makes this message more accessible. Let's spark the fire and end the silence for those that need it as much as you do. Into power. Now is the time for your quest to begin. Let's complete this number. 1 flourishes in independence, which isn't only freedom from other people, which includes freedom from their influence over you, their beliefs and their standards. It's about taking charge of your own life and making decisions that aren't for applause, but it's more about proving to yourself that you can walk this road. I'll thrive working alone, but they don't want you to be self-sufficient. They want you to remain reliant and little because they want you to need them. Remain consistent, since that's how they control you. Yet the truth is that independence breaks their illusion of control when you stop focusing your life on them and stop trying to get their favor. Attention. They lose the influence they believed they had over you, and you believe that stopping will make them feel good. Arriving at their altar after you've stopped rushing to them whenever they give you tokens of love. Oh no, it will hurt a lot, because they have based their pride on the falsehood that you require them, but you disproved them today. How do you manage to achieve it? How do you succeed in making yourself the focus of your universe is the first step toward independence. Them, not anybody else. You evaluate your life and determine what brings you joy, makes you feel alive. Perhaps you've forgotten because you've been so preoccupied with winning people over. Now begin. Before they give their viewpoint, briefly describe the things you used to enjoy doing. Mattered a lot, whether it was art or running. Bring it back into your life and try something entirely else if you're not sure where to begin. Enroll in a class, join an organization, or pursue a passion that has always piqued your interest. Does it feel hard? Of course it does. Independence is never easy. Is a muscle, and although it may not be strong right now, here is its beauty. Every little step you take strengthens it. Initially, it's like climbing a mountain. It feels like your old habits are weighing you down with each step. However, as you ascend higher, it becomes lighter, and you'll soon glance back and realize, imagine how far you've come and the breathtaking vista from above. The entrance of your cage is open, but you've been inside for so long that they've persuaded you that the cage is all you need, but you know deep down that you've forgotten what it's like to fly. It's better if you jump one day. It's scary at first, and your wings are rusty. And you notice something amazing about yourself, even though the air feels strange. We were created to explore, to soar, and to flourish in the open sky. Ralph Waldo Emerson reportedly said, "Your flight is independence, and it's waiting for you." Claimed that the greatest achievement is to be yourself, in a world that is always attempting to mold you into someone else. When you embrace independence, that's precisely what you're becoming. Once more, you were the version of yourself that people desired, not the version they desired. Always intended to be, and remind yourself of this when it gets difficult. This is for the life you deserve, not just for today. It's for the ability to live your life as you see fit and enter any space without being told to do so by others. However, since you made the decision, keep in mind that you're not merely learning to survive without. They are teaching you to live as fully and unapologetically as you do. Require someone's approval to succeed. You don't need their approval. You are the cornerstone of your life and everything you construct from it. Thus you must evolve. Saying this affirmation will make you stronger than anything you've left behind. Flourish in my independence. Write it down, speak it out, and toss it in the leave, a comment that really gets to you because this is your reality right now. Strength. And it doesn't matter what if someone tries to doubt it. What counts is the life you're creating, the liberty you're asserting, the wings you're extending, and letting the world witness your success. I flourish in my independence as a writer, not for their praise but for your own tranquility. It is your trip, and you are already taking the lead. Own it, believe it. First step, and if you haven't already, please click the like button beneath this video. However, please make sure you do. It may seem like a small thing to you, but to us, it means everything helps us expand, connect with more people, and continue producing material that empowers you in the second place. Let's spend time with individuals that value you. Talk about it. You've given a lot of it to other people, haven't you? You've stayed up late, compromised, and gave up your tranquility to make someone else feel significant. But did they reciprocate by showing you respect? Really? Or did they simply keep taking until you were left with nothing to offer? It's time to reverse the script and quit squandering your time on those who observe. As an alternative, you treat them as if they are your top priority. You deserve better. And it begins with making the decision to surround yourself with people who truly value you, rather than those who just put up with you, those who take advantage of you, those who recognize your worth, those who respect your presence. And respect isn't about those who give as much as they take. Let's be honest, flattery or superficial praise, it's about how you're treated when they don't require anything from you. What matters is who steps up when times become tough. It all comes down to who respects your limits, listens to you without passing judgment, and these are the ones who value you without requiring you to prove it. You should surround yourself with people that make you feel like you're in a garden. Are the ones caring for your soil, sowing seeds, and watering your roots. However, some people, they are weeds. They stifle your development, drain your vitality, and make you feel it's like pulling weeds when you spend time with individuals who respect you. It is preferring sunlight over shadow in your garden. You believe that living a stagnant life is too hard to handle. People who genuinely care about you won't hesitate to respect you if you ask them. They won't make you beg for it because it comes naturally to them. Question your limits, and they will absolutely not attempt to coerce you into, what does it look like to spend time with people that respect you, even if you feel like you're asking for too much? The difficult thing of saying no to people who don't, isn't it cutting off the people you've known for so long that it seems wrong to let them out? Go even if they have repeatedly demonstrated to you that they are undeserving of a position in your life. But the reality is that you can't make room for those who respect you until you eliminate those who don't believe it. Human psychology supports this. Reflect the energy that surrounds them and spend time with those who consistently disparage, denigrate, or exploit you, and you never know what you'll start thinking you deserve it. But when you're with people who encourage you, celebrate your accomplishments, and recognize your value, now, I won't lie to you, when you reach that level, their respect starts to reflect your own. May initially feel isolated as you begin pulling weeds from your garden, may appear empty, but that space is an opportunity rather than a loss. for fresh development, stronger bonds, and soul-nourishing relationships. Imagine that instead of depleting it, you are a diamond in the people that are rude and disrespectful will treat you like a rock and step on you, disregarding your brilliance and forgetting your value, but the proper people recognize they preserve it, polish it, and appreciate it for what it is, which is as Maya Angelou once stated, there is no difference between people who take you for granted and those who genuinely appreciate you. Putting someone first when all you are to them is a choice. The energy you must abide by the principle that the instant you stop giving priority to those who don't respect you, you begin to build a life filled with mutual respect, love, and decency. If it's difficult, keep in mind that every individual you let go of opens a door. Every time you demand respect, you teach the world something better. How I treat you is about honoring you, not about being aloof or resentful. You are sufficient to only allow people who truly deserve you to say this. Confirmation that I am deserving of respect and that I should surround myself with those who let it soak in, write it down, shout it out, post it in the comments, and make it your own. Mantra, since the life you're creating now is one in which deference isn't. Spending time with individuals who respect you is a must, not a choice. You realize that's the absolute minimum, yet you're anxious for approval. You deserve it, therefore let others who are unable to meet it watch from the sidelines. Although you flourish in the presence of others who genuinely notice you, I am deserving of respect, and I prefer to be among people who respect me. Say it, believe it, and live it. This is your moment for change, and the first step is to surround yourself with positive people. Of bringing you down, so please describe your current situation in the comments section, reading what other people have shared as well. It's a fantastic way to share how you're feeling right now and what you've been through. Method to communicate, get help, and remind yourself that you're not doing this alone. Enhance your emotional intelligence with the third voyage. Let's get one thing straight. They want your reaction because they believe that's how they'll manipulate you. Frustration, rage, and tears, because every response you give feeds their feeling of power. But as you improve your emotional intelligence and stop reacting in such ways, you become untouchable by becoming the master of your own destiny rather than their emotional puppet. Emotional intelligence in one's own thinking is the capacity to comprehend and regulate your feelings while being sensitive to others' feelings. It's about mastering your emotions when you're at ease, not about repressing them. When you remain calm when they're thrashing, they lose the grip they believed they had over you. Your calm turns into their annoyance, and your dominance turns into their downfall. Want them to fall apart? Don't yell, fight, or try to explain. Simply remain composed. Because if someone tries to provoke you, nothing is more unnerving than complete, unwavering calm, and they'll plummet attempting to understand why their deeds don't hurt and why their words don't. In the quiet of your emotional clarity, explain why their games no longer function. They will have to confront an unmanageable truth. They no longer have control over you. How do knowing yourself is the first step towards improving your emotional intelligence. When was the last time you sat down to, instead than avoiding or allowing your emotions to control you, sit with them? They burst out of you. Self-awareness is never simple, but when you spend some time learning about your triggers and the reasons behind your regaining authority over your responses, picture what your mind looks like. When someone tries to agitate you, they're turning up the heat like a thermostat. Might cause you to become agitated, but emotional intelligence allows you to manage that thermostat doesn't regulate the heat. No matter how much they turn the dial, you remain at the temperature you specify. And their whole strategy collapses when they discover they can't shake you. Being emotionally intelligent also entails being able to see behind their actions and understand why they are behaving out and making an effort to 9 times out of 10. They will provoke you. It's not about you. Worries, insecurities, and a need for control. When you realize that you stop taking offense at what they're doing, you know that their words and actions are a representation of them rather than of you, which is emotional freedom and power. So don't act like this change is simple. You need to learn to manage your emotions. One of the most difficult things you will ever accomplish is to respond rather than react. There will be moments when you want to yell and defend yourself to make your point, but instead, breathe deeply and consider whether this is worth my peace of mind, because 9 times, no. Since developing emotional intelligence requires practice, the next time someone attempts to provoke you, start small and simply hesitate for a few seconds. 3. Inhale deeply and decide how to react. It may seem awkward at first, initially, but as time passes, that halt turns into your superpower. The instant you regain your power, your composure, and your control by visualizing yourself as a mountain. When the storm rages and the wind howls, you don't let it disturb you. That's what emotional. Despite the mayhem that the world may throw at you, intelligence keeps you firmly planted, untouchable, and guess what? You're still standing once the storm passes. Marcus Aurelius was one of you have control over your thoughts, not outside of them, according to the best Stoic philosophers. Occurrences you will discover the source of your emotional strength. You have no control over what other people say or do, but you do have power over how you react, and that the difference between remaining stuck in their games and surpassing them will be determined by their response, or lack thereof. Feels challenging? Keep in mind that whenever you choose peace over chaos, you're developing the emotional intelligence necessary to become a more powerful and independent version of yourself. Isn't simply a talent, it's a shield that guards your tranquility, vitality, life, and by practicing it consistently, you're reaffirming your limits and demonstrating to the outside world and to yourself that you are unwaveringly state this: I am in control of my feelings, but they are not in control of my writing. Put it in writing, say it aloud, leave a remark, and let it to sink in, because this is the fact that you are calm and not a slave to your feelings or the manipulations of others, which is the foundation of your life. When they see you like this, calm and in control, they will know they can no longer press your buttons. They will notice the power in your serenity, the strength in your silence, and that it will shake even though they didn't know you well. I am in control of my emotions, and they are not in control of me. Say it, own it, and live it. The 4th strength is your power, and no one can take it away from you. The first thing that people notice about you is your physical presence, even before you speak. The silent affirmation of your identity, a message of self-assurance, fortitude and resilience, as well as when you enter a space with intention and when your posture and energy, your presence demand respect. You can earn their respect without saying a word. Believe me, they will sense your power, but here's the thing, they do not expect this from you. They have become accustomed to your little, slouched demeanor. Not confident of yourself, they've thought they've exhausted you, and now is the time to prove to them that they were mistaken, as strengthening your physical presence not only transforms, let's face it, how you see yourself changes how other people see you. Being physically present is about more than just appearance. It's about energy. Standing like you belong wherever you are, moving like someone, and strolling as though you own the earth beneath your feet. Who knows their value? It's about communicating without speaking. I am here. I am resilient and strong. How do you do it? Just straighten your posture when you stand with your head up, shoulders back, and shoulders back. project confidence right away, even if you don't feel it psychologically now. Research has demonstrated that your body language affects how you see yourself, as well as how other people see you. When you present yourself as strong, you begin to feel strong yourself. Consider a lion traversing its domain. It travels calmly and deliberately, never rushing or cowering. The spirit you're striving for is strength, as if it knows it's the ruler of the jungle, not haughtiness or violence. Simply said, unquestionable strength. Let's now discuss measures that will strengthen your being physically present. Entails caring for your body, not for other people, but for you. Go to the gym, do yoga, go running, and move your body in ways that make. It's not about fitting into someone else's mold. You feel powerful and alive. Expectations. The goal is to create a body that feels as strong as your spirit. By exercising your body, you're not only building strength, but also demonstrating. Tell yourself that you can change with every push-up and mile. Every sweating moment serves as a reminder that I am more resilient than I initially believed, and that people can feel and see the strength you radiate in the way you carry oneself, in the manner that you occupy space without expressing regret. Yet, let's face it, isn't always simple. There may be days when you want to hide and shrink like the on those days. You have to remind yourself that the weight of everything is too much. Every action you do to bolster your physical presence is a step toward taking back your authority. You just need to keep turning up. Visualize this. You don't need to be flawless. People may try to shake you since you're a mountain that is unwavering and sturdy. The energy of a powerful person is to climb you and tear you down, but you remain motionless. Being grounded by bodily presence is more important than being ostentatious or boisterous. Indestructible and indisputable, as the old Stoics would say, you possess self-control, and your body serves as the vehicle for that control. Therefore, that's all the power you need. Bolster it. You're creating a stronghold of self-assurance that no one can undermine, not simply muscle or stamina. Saying this affirmation, I stand firmly in my presence, write it, believe it, and then leave a remark to serve as a reminder. You of the authority you're entering, because being strong on the inside is more important than simply appearing strong. And out. As well as when they witness you striding tall and carrying, they will sense the change, the transformation, and the distance if you act like someone who understands your value. They'll discover they didn't truly know you between who you were and who you've become, and that will be their realizing that I am a powerful presence. I say, own it, live it, and this is your fifth. Master the art of metamorphosis, and nobody can take it away from you. What they're depending on is your rage and your lack of response. Your tears of frustration are fuel for their fire, and each time you blow up, they win whenever you beg them to, and they win whenever you allow their words or deeds to unsettle you. They prevail. But once you learn to be non-reactive, when you decline, you take back all the authority they believed they had in order to give them the gratification of managing your emotions. Had over your lack of response isn't just silence, it's quiet, with power. It's the capacity to maintain composure while someone else tries to undermine you. While someone else attempts to irritate you, they thrive on disorder. But when you react calmly, they're left scratching their heads and feeling helpless. Consider how many times you have left a disagreement, an argument or confrontation that ends now, where you're mad at yourself for allowing them to win. Your shield, which preserves your tranquility, vitality, and dignity, is inaction. Because the truth is that not everyone or anything is worthy of your. In response, picture a still lake where someone tosses a stone in the hopes of creating ripples. Waves a reaction, but the water remains motionless and quiet instead. That's the power of non-reaction. Indicates that you are in charge and that you are not weak. They are afraid of control, and depend on your emotional outbursts to justify their own actions without it. Leaving them to stare before a mirror and confront the self-awareness of what prompts you is the first step towards non-reaction and the emptiness of their actions. Makes you want to strike out in self-defense to establish your point. When you feel angry or hurt, stop, take a deep breath, and count. 3 to 10, depending on how long it takes you to get your composure back in that point. Pause. You take back control of your life by reminding yourself that although it's difficult, peace is more important than their chaos. In fact, it's one of we're programmed to respond and protect ourselves against the hardest things you'll ever do. Safeguard our ego, but being silent isn't about ego. Rather, it's about wisdom. Realizing that not every argument merits a response and that not every conflict is worthwhile, as the Stoics felt that most of the time we suffer more in our imaginations than in actuality. Reaction isn't about the present, rather, it's about the narrative you've created in your mind. Let it go and concentrate on the now. Concentrate on maintaining your composure. Imagine that you are a mountain and the wind is howling. When it rains and you don't let it bother you, people may yell insults or attempt to agitate you, but you don't move like that mountain, hence your lack of response is while the storm rages around you, anchor holds you steady. Let me make one. Clearly, a lack of response does not imply that you are ignoring the problem. Indicate that you're not strong. Rather, it indicates that you're picking your battles carefully and avoiding wasting your energy on not responding to individuals or circumstances that don't deserve it. Isn't passive. Rather, it's the best part of exercising self-control is that when you stop reacting, you change the equilibrium of power. They will frantically try to agitate you, but their efforts will fail. Flat. They will become agitated, perplexed, and perhaps frantic at that precise moment. They'll understand that they have no more cords to grip after you cut them. Let it sink in. Power here. I choose calm over chaos. Say this affirmation. Every time you feel the need to express anything, write it down and post it in the comments section. Want to react? Tell yourself again, I prefer peace to chaos, because that's you are choosing calm over drama, strength over weakness, control over chaos, and this is precisely what you are doing. The beauty of it is that it changes you rather than merely shielding you from them. You get stronger and more grounded each time you practice it. Tough enough that the things that formerly shook you won't even touch you now. Stroll through life like that mountain, unwavering and steadfast, while some try their hardest to elicit a say it. I prefer calmness to pandemonium. Let them see that you are in control of your life and that no one can take it away from you. The power in your quiet and the poise in your composure made them understand they never really understood you and allowed them to fall apart due to their own turmoil. Every time number 6 builds a powerful inner circle, you overcome it. Let's face it, the people you spend time with have the power to either lift you up or bring you down. If you've been investing all of your energy in relationships that make you feel depleted, insulted, or underappreciated, it's time to switch things up. Your inner circle isn't about having the most people is important, but so is choosing the best ones. Strength above convenience, quality over quantity, and commitment over familiarity. Consider how many times you have held on to someone because they were there for you no matter what. Presence just served to diminish you. How many times have you justified retaining someone you've known for years despite their attempts to undermine your self-esteem dreams? You're valuable. That's over. Now, creating a solid inner circle begins with one crucial step of eliminating those who don't belong there. Your inner circle ought to be a haven where you can be open and vulnerable without dread, where your strength is praised and you can dream without being mocked. Those who show up when it counts and listen without complaining are the ones that are resented. Judgmental people who encourage you to develop because they want to see you succeed, yet aren't. They are the ones who feed on your failures, not your achievements, and they are envious of it. Imagine your life as a garden, with the most applause when you get up. There are weeds in your inner circle that are either watering it or draining it, encroaching on your personal space and draining your energies. Others are the sunlight promoting your growth and enabling you to become taller and stronger. You don't need anyone, so it's time to get rid of the weeds and allow the sun in. Someone dims your light, but let's face it, severing relationships is difficult. Even toxic people can experience loneliness, and it can be tempting to cling on since it's familiar. But the truth is that everyone you let go of creates room for. Every weed you remove gives your garden a chance to flourish and grow. Believing that the proper people will enter your life when you create space for them is the foundation of having a solid inner circle. Be in the company of individuals who value you and inspire you, who give you the best challenges, who give you a sense of life, and unstoppable psychology demonstrates how we emulate the characteristics of people closest to us. You must surround yourself with individuals who are growing if you want to grow. If you want strength, look for strong people and allow their energy to reflect your own. Magnify it by saying, "I make a circle of strength and dignity." Write it, say it, post it in the comments, and let it remind yourself that your presence, time and energy are gifts, and only those who respect them ought to be let to enter your circle and take care of it. Passionately, and observe how your life changes in the presence of people who genuinely care about and support you. Establish a circle of respect and strength by saying, "Live it, believe it, and do it." Your home, your foundation, your power. Pick your people carefully and let them assist you in reaching number 7. Establish and maintain your boundaries. Some people find the phrase itself unsettling, don't they? That's because limits are where power ends. Your sense of self-respect is shattered by the demands and expectations of others. They will accuse you of being cold, self-centered, or aloof, yet here's, when it no longer serves their borders, they just label it selfish. Are about safeguarding what's inside your home, not about keeping people out. Your self-worth, peace, and vitality are precious, and not everyone deserves them. Access to them by establishing and maintaining your boundaries, which makes it obvious that you value yourself too highly. To allowing you to encroach on this area is necessary for your survival, not for your pride or cruelty. And as soon as you establish and uphold those boundaries, you start to, you've certainly heard this before, but sift out those who were merely there to steal what they could. Whether it be their family or tell me something, don't excuse them. They've been your friend for years. If someone goes too far and refuses to show respect, time does not make the toxicity go away. To admit that, regardless of the title they wear, they don't belong in your life. Everyone has boundaries, so begin by establishing what you will not put up with: things that deplete you, cause you pain, or go beyond a certain point. Be brutally honest with yourself. If someone's actions cause you to doubt your border should be where your happiness or confidence is at rest. If you must make it tangible, write it down so that you can maintain a line more easily. As you can see, the difficult part of maintaining those boundaries is about to begin. Most individuals struggle with this, simply saying that "I don't tolerate." When someone exceeds your boundary, you must act with disrespect and call them out clearly and gently without apologizing. Is not about picking a quarrel. It's about sticking to your principles, especially if they push back, they ignore you, and you go without a second thought. The likelihood that maintaining your limits is a declaration, "This is my line," and if you can't respect it, you won't be allowed to stay. Think of yourself as a fortress with boundaries. Are the moat, gates, and walls. Without them, anybody could enter and take what they want and abandon you in ruins. But with the gates and walls in place closed to anyone who disregards your personal space, your castle becomes into a stronghold that is impenetrable, and those that are important will respect the walls, knock on the gate, and wait to be in. Let me warn you, when you start setting limits, some people may resist and accuse you, try to make you feel inferior for having the courage to defend yourself. But don't fall for it. Their discomfort isn't real. Your issue indicates that you are surrounded by working people who genuinely value you. They will respect your boundaries and not be offended. Those who refuse to let them go, allow them to get upset and let them go.